teleprompter. Good evening, fight fans. Welcome to another great episode of Headkicks and Haymakers. I'm your boy Bodkins, baby, and of course, with me is Mr. Bobby Blunt. Welcome. Last week, Bobby, we said adios to the year that was 2025. This year, tonight, we look into the big giant glass ball. For some of you, might be a crystal ball. Full of meth, depending on what happens on this show. I think last year didn't Witt say his breakout star was going to be fucking Buckley or something? I was like, the fuck, he can't be a breakout star. But it was something.
I always wish we write these down.
Yeah, I'm gonna write down tonight. I'm gonna write some of them down. I'll write them down and try to remember and go back 365 days. But tonight we're going to look into our crystal ball. We're going to talk about the year to come in 2026. We're still about 3 weeks away from the first official UFC event on Paramount and the first official UFC event of the year. It seems like forever, Bobby. I mean, it really does. These long weeks. I think, you said it best, it seems like you get into the grind of just like the thing. And then now the thing is gone for a few weeks, and it's been a while. I feel like I'm scratching the itch by literally going on to Paramount Plus now and just clicking 2010's playlist and watching all the old fights. Sometimes I think the production was better back then. I don't know if the fights were better as far as skill-wise, but I think the production thing was a lot better. But nonetheless, it's, maybe that's just nostalgia getting to me. But, Bobby, I mean, we can start the year, start the show, just kind of, I'm going to ask you, what storylines are you looking into right now for the year, going into the year of 2026?
I've kind of been comparing it very similarly, especially because it's the same company. It kind of is reminding me a lot of like when Netflix got in to WWE. I'm just going to be watching if it's like similar to that. I don't know if you saw like Raw last week.
Yeah,
they did like the whole Stranger Things vibe thing.
Yeah.
And like I see some of the most like prominent like Ice Cube's son, like one of the like WWE can do no wrong like sort of things.
Yeah.
And you could like kind of see that the TKO style is like slowly starting to weigh on the fan base, like with the bookings and stuff, or like just bizarre stuff they're doing with the Stranger Things. And knowing Mark Shapiro's playbook, I think we're going to get a lot of that with Paramount, because they essentially, like, I know you've seen the advertisements on Paramount Plus for it, and they're advertising it with like Gladiator and like other movies and stuff. So I really think we're going to see a lot of just bizarre stuff that we're not used to seeing. That the best way I could describe it would be more telling us than showing us. Like they're gonna act like it's something like re-innovated, like this is the new thing changing the game. But are the fights that they book, is how that year is gonna start, like is that all like gonna match, or is it gonna like fall off, stall out because of it's weird because of the White House. We got that in the middle, and then we got the events that are like announced right now. So to me, I just I know they're going to make it feel very big. I just wonder if that's actually going to translate on these first couple events. you mentioned kind of the thirst of not being able to watch it. I think that's, really deliberate because they've never really had an off season. So they have a little like hardcore reboot one where it's like 6 weeks instead of 3 or something.
Yeah.
And it's going to make the desire for the product just a little bit more, but they're not going to necessarily have to do anything different. They're going to kind of be able to roll out kind of the same song and dance they've been doing, but they're going to be like, some slight tweaks, whether it's the, next blockbuster movie coming out like through Paramount, and they're going to kind of co-promote with that with some fights. But will it like translate for like the combat side? That's where my like hands are still kind of up in the air with like the bookings we've got. I told you last week I've come around to a few of them, but I just don't know long term really what it will mean. And that kind of just brings me to my main storyline is going to be, what do the belts mean? Like, are they really going to have any lineage? Are they going to be defended? Are we going to get more vacated belts than actual?
Well, that sounds like more your bold prediction, and we'll get into that here in a minute, or later on in the show.
Yeah, well, that's not really a bold prediction.
Oh, okay. You tweeted me a big bold prediction, or you messaged me a bold prediction, so I just didn't want you to put that out into the universe yet.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, the Paramount thing is obviously, I think, the number one, right? The number one storyline. Like, how's this going to look? What are they going to do? Is it going to be different? I think the White House, right? Like, as much as I'm going to hate talking about it just because everybody's going to be talking about it. I'm one of those people, like, I'm tired of hearing about them. Every fighter's going to beg to be on this card. We've already seen it for a year now, right? I mean, John Jones, the minute he relinquished the title, 2 days later saying, oh, I want to be on that White House card that they're talking about. So I think like that's obviously going to be a major factor, a major storyline. And, I think Ilya Topuria, like what's going on with him in his personal life, in his belt, in the lightweight belt. And, I think that's going to be a storyline. Is the UFC going to make some stars, or are some of these stars going to come back? Obviously John Jones is rumored to, wanting to come back. Conor McGregor is rumored to be fighting on this White House card. There's rumors of Ronda Rousey, just depending on, what's real and what's not real. But it's, you know what I mean? Like, who knows? But it's so those are some of the storylines. And then just, what does Alex Pereira do? Like, it'll be interesting as far as like, does he drop the light heavyweight belt? Does he move up to heavyweight? As far as like, if you get into fighting, Sean O'Malley has kind of come out and said like, this could be maybe his last year. I don't know if I really believe that, because he's so young, but I mean, he's got money. He's done things the right way as far as like investment wise, bought things. So maybe he does want to fight. You know what I mean? Maybe we'll see some of that. There's already a couple other fighters said, hey, I've only got a few years. I mean, Carlos Prates, I mean, he said, hey, I'm done at like 35. Hopefully we'll talk about some of these. Like, I think we'll probably look at each division and kind of talk about some intriguing fights, later here at the back end of the show. But those are some of the storylines to me. But I think you're right. Like, to me, the Paramount Plus of what this is going to look like, how it's going to be. I never really thought about that, about like the combining, right, of like a movie and the fights. I don't know if you can do that necessarily in the UFC, like in the WWE, right? Because the WWE, as we know, it's all scripted, so you can script in certain things. And that Stranger Things didn't even really script it in with any like fighting or anything like that. But we've seen matches in the WWE, like, the Mountain Dew Lights Out match or something. So could I see like this, and they already do it, this fight's presented by, blah, blah, blah movie or blah, blah, blah this. I think so. That could very well happen.
Yeah, I'm referring to like the cold opens and stuff that will like be going into the events and just,
I guess. Yeah.
Just kind of cheap ways to make it seem like, bigger than it kind of is. And
yeah,
because I mean, you touched on like with the Mountain Dew matches and stuff. I could totally see them like the one thing we do know is the sponsorships are going to go up. Like the cage, there was like not an inch. Like you could count probably like 26 sponsorships on the mat. I mean, they put sponsors on the prayer mat that the fighters pray on. So, I guess we'll also have to look forward to the new innovative ways for them to sell us a bunch of bullshit. So.
Yeah, it is. Let's kind of get into some predictions, and then I want to kind of look at each division and just kind of match make some of like some fights that we want to see, fights that aren't made that are must see fights. I think if we go division by division instead of as a whole, be a lot funner. But hold on, let me get here to the banner. So we'll start here. Let me ask you. So last week we did our 2025 breakout fighter of the year. So I'm going to ask you, who would be your breakout fighter that you're going to pick to break out this year?
It's kind of because, especially with the years some of these guys have, like, for example, I don't want to do a wit, but like I don't think we can consider Milky Costa a breakout fighter, can we?
I don't know. I think you can. I think you can. I think he broke out a little bit, but I would, if you said, "Hey, Milky Costa," I would be like, yeah, especially right. He's going to fight Dan Ige. Like, what's the definition of a breakout? You know what I mean? Like a breakout to us is like, oh man, this guy's fought like 3 times on the undercard and he's won 3-0. He's the guy to watch out for. But so he's kind of broke out. But like to me, like it also could mean a guy that's like he's unranked today and then he breaks out like Joshua Van, maybe not become champion, but is knocking on the door.
Yeah, and that's kind of why I held him as breakout when I was thinking about it, because he put the perfect stamp on it at the end of the year with the KO. And so that's fresh in everyone's mind. And like, for example, when I mentioned like the matchup was out there, I saw a lot of people reacting like, oh, Milky's going to finish Ige and stuff. And that just warmed my heart that like he's already there, that he's being kind of like looked at like, oh, this is kind of a endangering upcoming prospect that is, won 4 fights last year. But now he is going to be kind of fighting that ranked opposition. And, the Ige matchup is in Houston. I love that booking. Think it's going to be a really interesting fight. And if he's able to get past that in that division, I think that's one of the best divisions to kind of break out in, because the list names of opposition he's going up against, it's all going to be exciting. Like I would want to see like him versus John Silva. I know he's booked with Arnold Allen and stuff, but everyone in that group, like that's kind of a very tough division to break into. And he's kind of already done the legwork of getting up to fighting ranked people. And I definitely think he can keep it going. And, even though he did have 4 fights last year, I think he could absolutely repeat that and, get that much activity in. So
is that who you're going with? You going with Milky Cabrera? Or
yeah.
Milky Costa, not Milky Cabrera.
Milky Costa all the way. It's definitely like he's slowly becoming one of my favorite fighters to like root for and just be excited that he's got an upcoming fight.
Yeah, I like that one. I like Saul Kid, or the Australian that had the huge knockout his last time out. What is it? Saul Kid is, I think, his name.
Quinlan.
Quinlan, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and he's got a fight lined up already as well. I think he's somebody to kind of keep an eye on as well. I had somebody else on the tip of my head, and I can't think of who.
I got an honorable mention too.
Go ahead.
I got and you might have to pull up his actual name because I'll butcher it. But
I think we're going to say GTR, the African guy, welterweight. That's who I was going to say.
Yeah, and especially in that division, that's a great shout. I love that. He's definitely, if he can keep getting wins, the sky's the limit with that guy. He's everything. You're not gonna ever get a fighter that has that like Francis Ngannou like mystique again, but he's damn close.
Yeah, he's knocking people out. You know who is it? GTR? Is that who I'm talking? Who I'm saying here? You know who I'm saying, right?
I believe that's how you pronounce it. Yeah.
Yeah. Gaiter. Gaitier. I'm trying to. If he's not even like, if you scroll on the rankings and he's a welterweight, but like I'm scrolling on like Tapology, he's not even in the top 78 or so. 80 or here. I'm pretty sure he was a welterweight. Might be a middleweight though.
Yeah, no, I think he's at 185 because that's where
maybe
I saw a few, and that's it's enticing for sure, and we could have fun with it. You kind of wonder like how far he can go at the top, but at the same time we are talking more breakouts, so that's why I think it's a perfect call.
Yeah, that's somebody to keep an eye on. Who was your who did you have?
So look up his full name, but you got to go with John Pork. I mean, this guy has still not fought yet, and when Islam had his fight, like he was getting the second loudest crowd pop to anybody in the thing. And I know he don't like to be called John Pork, but I mean, you might just want to embrace the nickname at this point. I kind of get why he doesn't, want to go by that name, but these big fans that are, into him, and it's interesting because he's definitely seems to strike more a lot. Like I would say like his Contender Series fight last year was like a performance of the season fight, like not fight of the season because it was a lot. He got the better side of it, but it was on one of the shows that had finishes on every single fight. And then you're wondering, well, how's this guy going to be able to, hold up with that really high bar? And he answered it. I mean, just the entire time. And granted, he hasn't fought yet, and it would probably have to do with like his activity. But I definitely think he's got everything to kind of be that big star name because he's already kind of got this cult popularity following.
Yeah, I don't. That's a good one as well. Yeah, ATBR Gaitier. He's a middleweight. Sorry, I said welterweight earlier, but middleweight. And I was looking at Tapology. They don't even have him ranked in the top 50 yet. So,
I mean, well, they definitely take. They rank everyone. It's not like just UFC, but
yeah.
He's like definitely in the prime division to be in, with kind of the unanswered questions we have about him. Cause like, he's a big guy, but I do kind of wonder how he deals with a more wrestling and heavy style at that division.
Right, I finally found him on Tapology. He's ranked 51.
Yeah.
So, he does have he's going to be on that January card, and he's fighting Andre Polayev. So he's 3-0 in the UFC, all by knockout. So that's who my breakout fighter is going to be.
Is that on the first Paramount card too?
Yeah.
See, that's another very good sign because we've said before the UFC is kind of going to show us who they want to promote in the beginning of this thing because this first card means a lot. So that's a good sign that they got him on that card there.
Yeah, real quick, it made me think of I want to talk about the storyline real quick, and I meant to ask you, because we're talking about Paramount, so I want to back up real quick again. Do you think that we're gonna see? I think the booking, right? We're already kind of seeing it, and we're hearing murmurs that they don't want boring ass motherfuckers fighting. We want to see, they want Paramount and is pushing for we want to see people get knocked the fuck out. Like, do you think we're going to see more of that instead? And so some of these guys that heavy wrestlers are going to miss out and are going to have to wait and build up longer resumes.
I definitely think the matchmaking will be more entertainment centered than actual
rankings.
Yes.
I think we're already slowly starting. We already saw some of that last year. I think we're going to see more of it this year.
But like at the same time, that's one I can't even put on Paramount. Like they might be the dividing factor and hammering it home, but the UFC's been treading in those waters for quite a while, you know?
Agreed. Yeah.
But yeah, I definitely do think Mark Shapiro specifically, that's his whole style. Like, I mean, you saw it as similar to, WWE, like doing the Cena farewell tour and just making sure to monetize every dollar they could off that.
Yeah.
And I expect a lot more of that. I'm not saying that's what I'm in favor for too. I mean, you know me, I kind of like a little bit of that. What makes the sport exciting for me is that it's not just kickboxing in 4-ounce gloves, you know?
Yeah, the best fight the best. Yeah. Real quick, just because another shout out for the breakout fighter of the year is Bruno Ferreira. I really like him a lot. The Hulk. I think he's kind of broke out through, he's climbing the rankings with somebody that I think could very well be there as well. So as far as breakout fighter, but yeah, you're saying, I'm gonna write this down. Hold on, I'm right. I'm writing Gatier, and you got who'd you say?
Milky Costa.
Oh yeah, good shout. Yeah, and I think Costa's right there too. He's so fucking good. Is like the Iron Turtle and people like that. Is that? Do you think like? I mean, that's a long shot. I feel like, but I don't even like Oral Ball. Like they kind of already got broken out.
Yeah, well, I really do like the Oral Ball one, just because I'm assuming he stays at 170, and there's a lot of very enticing matchups for him. And he was just killing himself at 55. There were always catch weights, and that one's going to kind of just come down to more activity. But yeah, he's kind of already earned must see TV in my eyes. So
agreed. So I like I like that as well. Let me ask you. We'll do. You want to do fighter? Should we go into the fights, or should we get into the fighter of the year? Our predictions for fighter of the year.
Maybe the fights, just because to lay the groundwork for that. Probably.
Okay. All right. Let's go each division. So, we'll start here. I'm gonna pull up the. We'll start at the heavyweight just because that's the first thing here. And so you got to tell me some fights that if it's not all, it can't be booked, but must see fights that you want to see here in this heavyweight division.
Okay, well, I'll just go. Tom Aspinall versus Waldo Cortez. Easily my most anticipated heavyweight fight currently. That would include even if Pereira comes up, which I'm assuming he will. But especially like the groundwork that was laid for that last year and kind of the end of year rise that Waldo had. That is one I'm really looking forward to seeing in the future. And I'm not even sure if we'll ever get it. But,
we're not, because he's going to get laid out by Derek Lewis in 3 weeks' time.
Yeah, I mean, you might want to bring your dog mask for that one.
Add another one to the list, baby.
You're completely right. I mean, that is why I kind of love that. I mean, another great fight you got on the opening night of the card. But Heavyweight is just kind of bizarre because it's almost like fantasy matchmaking already, because there's like it's kind of just stuck at the top.
Yeah, we can do
Aspinall
storyline and matches that we want to see going into the year, and really for heavyweight, I think the storyline's right. Tom Aspinall, what happens with him? We got to.
My storyline for this is going to be a little bit of a downer.
Okay, here we go.
I expect. I don't think the UFC really has any moves left. They're relying on like Conor McGregor and just people they have kind of deemed in the past to be unreliable. And I think they're going to probably grant Pereira his wish in letting him move up. But unfortunately, he is going to be moving up to fight Cyril Gane for the vacant heavyweight title.
No.
And my thought process
is that a bold prediction too? Like a storyline / bold prediction?
At this point, I think it's the most likely thing to happen for this sole reason.
That's disgusting, Bobby. Why would you say that?
I understand, and I'm sorry for even bringing it up, but quite frankly, you cannot tell me that Alex Pereira would. So there are a few things here. One, I do not think Aspinall fights this year. He had surgery. It just really seems very up in the air. And with them making the move of Pereira going for his third title, there's no way in hell they're going to have the word interim attached to that title. Probably and so. I think they're just going to sell it to Tom. Like, look, we're going to strip you for now. It's not going to affect your base pay or anything because your first fight back, you will be fighting for the title. But every update I've gotten, which ironically has been from Tom Aspinall himself, it just does not sound very optimistic. Like, I think the best case scenario is that he would fight late third quarter, maybe early fourth quarter.
MSG would be the best.
Yeah, and my concern is just, again, if Pereira moves up, maybe it doesn't make too much of a difference to him when you look at the example of them booking Patty and Gaethje for the first Paramount card. Like, that has interim next to it, so I'm really making too big of a deal out of it, but I just am very not optimistic that he fights this year, and it's going to force the UFC's hand to take the belt off him.
Ooh, okay. All right. So I'm going to say that's the storyline is Tom Aspinall, right? And what happens with the eyes and the thing. I got to see Tom Aspinall and Cyril Gane go back at it. You got to close that storyline up. And Bobby, it is Alex Pereira moving up to heavyweight. I think that happens. I don't think it's going to be John Jones at the White House, but I do think it's going to be John Jones someplace else. I do. Maybe I'm crazy. A year ago, I said John Jones versus Tom Aspinall was going to fucking happen, and it didn't happen. Maybe I'm just want to be in a feel-good year. I want to see it. Give me.
Wait, are you saying Aspinall will fight John?
No, Aspinall will fight Cyril Gane. Alex Pereira will fight John Jones.
Yeah, that I'm sorry, that's what I meant.
Those fights will happen, and the winners will headline. Will fight, and then that'll be it for Alex Pereira. He'll retire. Whether that happens at the end of this year or not, whether those two winners fight at the end of this year, I think it does. I think they could do it. If Tom can come back healthy, if Tom can come back in June, July, and then they fight in like November, October, would be awesome.
Out of respect to you, I will not pour any water on your prediction.
So one of us got to be positive around here. So
yeah, and again, I take no joy in predicting this.
Okay.
And I know last week I said I was going to be more positive.
Yeah, that was your New Year's resolution.
We're not off to a good start, but you know, we do have to kind of predict some good with the bad. And best case scenario, yes, Tom is able to get that rematch with Gon, and he gets the victory there. But you kind of know where I am with John Jones, and my stance has not wavered on this.
Yeah, you think he's done? Yeah, you said that
Yeah.
this time last year. You said he was done.
Yeah, and you know, I did say when Pereira finished on Goliath that now there is this like mystery box of, well, I guess this could be the one, and he has been obviously campaigning for it, but it's bizarre, man. Dana has sold him at every turn.
Okay, let me ask you this real quick, and then we'll move to light heavyweight. Over under 1.5 fights for Alex Pereira this year at heavyweight.
Yeah, over for sure.
So you think he gets 2 heavyweight fights in?
Oh, I thought you said a half a fight. What you
One
said?
and a half.
1.5.
1.5.
Yeah, I probably would lean over just because I think he's done at 205.
Okay, so you think he gets at least 2 fights in at heavyweight? I kind of agree. There. All right, let's move into the light heavyweight. Give me your fight that you want. You must see light heavyweight fight of the year going into this year.
Oh, man, that's tough. You know, I think the one I actually want to go into this year wanting to see is most likely what we're gonna have to have the vacant champion, because Yuri has been on a great run with the comeback. You know, had the great showing against Jamal, had the great comeback against Khalil Roundtree. And I do think if he vacates, he would be next. And he's just such a fun fighter to watch. And Olberg also has that same style. So it might be kind of cheap because I'm going for the top, but it probably would be Yuri Prohaska versus Carlos Olberg. Because again, in this prediction, I think Pereira is done. Okay. Now, the small caveat here, if Pereira is not done, and this is going to sound insane, but the fight I want to see the most is give me the Alex Pereira Yuri Prohaska trilogy.
They've already fought 3 times. Right?
Oh, the quad trilogy then.
Right? They fought 3 times, right? It's Yuri's 0-3?
I thought it was 2 and he's 0-2.
Oh, maybe it is 0-2. Yeah.
Okay. And a year ago, or when he took the fight on short notice and lost Pereira, I would have never thought I wanted to see that again. But then when I've seen all this work that has happened where guys were either injured or took something on short notice and they had better success, let Yuri fight Pereira on a full camp and let's see what we can do.
I don't hate it, but I think Alex is done at 205. I'm with you there. I don't need to see the third fight. Actually, I'm kind of with you. I like the Yuri versus Olberg for the vacant light heavyweight title. Yeah. Give me that. Give me that. That's probably the fight I want to see the most in that division. So yeah, I'm an agreement there. All right, let's get into middleweight. I'll go first this time. I think the storyline coming out of middleweights, obviously, how many times Hamzat going to fight? He's already talking about moving up to 205. You know what? If that happens, the fight I'd want to see at 205 is Hamzat versus Yuri.
If he goes up to 205?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd like it. I'd kind of prefer him like fighting Khalil, just because
Ooh,
the size, you know.
yeah.
That'd be a little bit more intriguing to me if he could do like, if he could still do that. But yes, this unfortunately is another one where you're going to bring negative Bobby back.
Yeah, sorry.
Um,
All right. So the fight I want to see the most, um, in in the middleweight, it's it's Hamzat versus Fluffy. That's
okay.
the that's the fight I want to see the most. That's the fight, and I think it can happen. Fluffy beats what Sean Strickland in February. It puts him right there. He's 5. Puts him. Strickland's at 4. Yeah, give me that. Give me that. What
Um,
about you here for the 185?
well, again, I might kind of be cheating here, but it technically isn't booked yet because he's hurt. Um, But for me, it's Chimaev versus Imavov. That is one of my most highly
Ah,
anticipated fights. I do not think people are giving Imavov a chance in hell, and I really think they're underestimating him.
count me
And
as one of those people underestimating him.
well, I mean, to be fair, you are the same guy that picked Caio Baharo to beat. So but and I get it. Chimaev is this kind of boogeyman, grab you, take you down force. But Imavov's hand speed is just very unique, and the way they match up together is very interesting. They and basically to me, you're either getting Imavov as Nnu, or Chimaev will defeat Imavov and he will vacate and go up to 205.
I hope he
So
sticks around and tries to fight Fluffy. I'd like to again. That's the
yeah,
fight I want to see.
but like you asked me over under 1.5 fights for Alex Pereira at heavyweight, I would say over under 1.5 fights for Chimaev at 185, and I would have to comfortably smash the under.
For the year, I would take the under. He's only fought once a year anyway.
Oh well, now let's see who's being negative.
I'm
Like,
being a realist. There's a difference, baby. I'm being honest. That's real. It's really
yeah,
he hasn't fought more than once since 2020 in 5 years.
yeah, my prediction is, his championship pay will incentivize him to fight more than once a year there. We're not
Um,
we're not going to get 3, but we could get 2. And I'm definitely with you on Fluffy for sure. That is very interesting as well. But I'm also very interested in
Ema.
um, you know if there were to be a vacancy as well, for like some unforeseen reason, Imavov and Fluffy, I also think is interesting.
Yeah. Real quick, I'd like to see. Here's 2 fights I'd like to see real quick. Just kind of RDR versus DDP. I'd like to see that, or DDP versus Brendan Allen.
Yeah, I like both of those. I definitely think Drickus Allen kind of makes sense because they've had that back and forth. He had that huge win over RDR.
Yeah.
So it would also be kind of enticing for Drickus to take it. You know me, I have always wanted RDR versus Drickus because I just think it would be the most bizarre thing to watch
Yeah.
with their styles. And, I am kind of interested what's next for Izzy as well, because especially rewatching the Izzy Imavov fight, Izzy was, having success in that fight, and he looked good until he got put down there. And it might surprise you, and I know he's already booked, but give me Adesanya versus Kyle Bahara.
I don't hate it. I don't hate. Who's Kyle's already booked though? Right against who?
He's booked for RDR March 7th.
Oh, that's right. That's right. That's right. Yeah.
Which probably ironically would have been a selection if I didn't mention it. Like that's a very kind of intriguing fight.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's already booked. So we're doing fights that are not booked yet. Yeah, I think Izzy's it'll be interesting. Izzy wants big fights. I think he does want the Sean Strickland rematch. So I think, let him get that one.
Yeah, I mean, I don't hate that. I think it's fair to give it to Izzy again. I think Strickland would take it. And
yeah.
I do. There are a lot of people who still think that was a fluke. So it's enticing enough for me for that angle.
Agreed. Let's get into welterweight. I think the storyline's the same thing, kind of blend from last year into this year's. What do they do with all this young, fresh talent? And I'll just be honest with you. The number one fight I want to see is Islam versus Shavkat.
There we go. I didn't even write it down because I didn't know I had to. I knew I did, and yes, easily. And like we're talking about a division where you could pick a name from 1 through 5, and it would be a good fight against a champion.
Yeah,
but that is probably my most anticipated fight that could be made in the entire UFC. Besides one more, like to me, I think it's a very low chance that it happens next. I'm kind of holding out hope it does.
I don't think it's going to happen next. I think we both know who it's going to be next, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I still maintain that I want Shavkat to get one in somewhere before he fights for the title. But I do at some point this year, I'd love to see, I want him to come back and be fully healthy and ready to fight because we haven't seen him in over a year. And then 2, I'd like to get him 2 fights in and 1 be against Islam for the welterweight title.
Yeah. And pending health, I would think it would happen because you could tell the UFC still thinks very highly of him. And that is just a real intriguing fight. If you look especially with both guys always pushing to finish and stuff. That one's so high on my list. I can't even tell you. It's really replaced.
That's replaced Islam Ilya, right? Like to me, that's the better fight.
Yeah. Well, it has. I mean, I guess yes, because it includes Islam. We'll get to it in the next division, but it's the most intriguing one too, because like for me, I think the storyline is will Islam be pound for pound number 1 by next year? And I really think the answer is going to be yes. And for that to happen, I mean, that'd be like the name in the resume, because people to this day still try to break down his resume and discredit it. And that's why I'm just so happy he's at 170, because that's going to be pretty hard to do as long as those names at the top are fought.
Yeah, and those in that talent, that's might be the most youth enriched talent division right now is 170. Let's get into the lightweight division. I'll let you. I think to me the story, and I'll let you pick the fight, and then I'll pick mine. But to me, the storyline coming into this division is just what happens with Ilya. He's going through the divorce. Seems like it's fucking messy. Like we don't watch it over here, but it seems like it's getting played out all over in Spain and in Europe, as far as like on the news and crazy shit like that. From kind of things I've seen on Twitter. But to me, it's what happens with Ilya and really kind of what happens with Arman. And then maybe those are combined together.
Yeah, it kind of definitely is. The Ilya stuff, like, again, we really don't know. I saw a clip today with him talking about it seemed like he went to court or something. But that stuff is almost more up in the air than Tom Aspinall's vision.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
and it.
I do think they should have just stripped him, like just
Yes,
like
I do.
And just had it been Gaethje and Patty for the real title. I think
Yeah,
so.
so it's kind of funny. Maybe funny is not the word, but you remember when they announced on Thanksgiving that it is going to be Justin versus Patty for the interim, and I literally said I have no problem with the fight. I just hate that it's for the interim title. But now with everything that we've learned up until this point, I really wish they did strip him. And this was for undisputed, because it not only would make that belt bigger, it feels like Aspinall. It's kind of minute if they strip him, because his next fight, he will be fighting for a belt either way. So does it really make that much of a difference? And, at the time when he made that announcement, I figured, okay, he'll probably be back like around June or something like that. So it made sense for them to not take it off him. But the more and more I just see the uncertainty, I do think it would have been a little bit cleaner if they would have just taken it off him, and then this would be fighting for undisputed. Because now it's just going to be what happens after January when Justin or Patty or him win. Yeah. And we're just going to have that like gray area to where if they at least took the title off him, it'd be a little bit, it's like, okay, well, they
could fight again. They could fight again and not have to worry Ilya to come back. You're almost doing what you did with Tom Aspinall in the heavyweight, where you have an interim and then he's going to have to fucking maybe possibly, defend the interim belt,
Yeah. And that's definitely why, you asked, like, do you think they should have just stripped him? Initially, I was hating that they even, were making this for the interim, but yeah, complete 180 by me, because it's just the uncertainty, and
Agreed.
Not only that, but like Patty's willing to fight Arman Tsarukyan, where, I'm not saying Ilya wouldn't, but as of right now, what he is like, these are his words, not mine. He said he would rather vacate the title than fight Arman.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of that is tongue in cheek from him missing the event. So they got to, keep everything brash. But, it just gets really hard to defend if, we're really talking about the best versus the best. And if Patty were to actually defend the interim title, or if Justin were to defend the interim title, it kind of makes it like a, John Jones situation with like, Tom defending his belt.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
It would just make it cleaner in the end.
Agreed. So what's your fight that you want to see here?
Well, with that being said, it's easily Ilya Arman. Like, I can say all that, but there really is no question. Like, to me, it's 1 and 2. Like, my most anticipated fights would be Ilya Topuria versus Arman Tsarukyan, and then we touched on Islam versus Shavkat. Yeah, those to me, like, literally signify the best versus the best in this sport, and it's easily the most intriguing. If I were to have a slight rear off that, it would probably be Arman versus Patty. That I believe the bad blood in that a hell of a lot more than I do Patty versus Ilya. It's just not working for me.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I want to see Arman versus Patty, Arman versus Ilya, and kind of see what happens. The one fight I really did want to see is Justin and Patty, but it's a fight we're gonna get here in a few weeks' time. So yeah, give me those as well. Let's get into the featherweight division real fast, Bobby. what fight do you want to see here?
God, this is a rough one. Especially because like so many guys are booked already. God, actually, I led with it, and especially again not knowing what we're I guess we'll touch on Vulcan stuff in a minute, but my most anticipated would I just can't get it out of my mind right now. Give me Melky Costa versus John Silva.
Woo, okay. Okay, I like that. That's a hell of a fight if that happens. Yeah, I mean you mentioned Volk. It'll be interesting to see how many fights Volk has left in the tank. I think I will say this, and this might be a bold prediction or whatever you want to say. I think this is Alexander Volkanovski's last calendar year fighting.
Yeah, it wouldn't shock me at all.
Whether how many fights he gets in, I don't know. I think once the belt goes, he goes.
So pretty much once he loses, he's done.
Yeah. So I think that'll happen sometime in this calendar year.
Yeah, I know they got a lot of buzz when they originally booked the Diego rematch. A lot of people were kind of insinuating, oh, well, this might be Volk's last one, Swang Song in Australia. And I kind of get the thinking on that. But I do think with you saying it could be his last calendar year, that could make sense. Because, I mean, just imagine if he is actually able to get in 3 more. And those names are like beating Diego again. And then
Lerone Murphy.
And like getting those 3 names on the resume would be tough. But it's at the same time, I can't, especially like with rewatching the fight, I think Diego has a much better chance than I'm giving him last time. And it just really just come like I was very critical about his game plan, but you're just another year removed. And I just think he has a much better chance of actually being able to catch Volk.
Okay.
And that
would look at you, Bobby. You've done a 180 again.
Huh?
I said you're doing a 180 again. This is positivity.
Yeah, I mean, I guess this is again in doing some rewatches. It really came down to him beating the fuck out of John Silva. Like that moment, I can really overlook the immediate rematch, like on Volk's side, because of it. And he's going to bring the fight. He's going to try to win the entire time. And I definitely think Volk, I think I still might favor him to win, but much different viewing of that fight when it was announced till today, for sure.
Yeah. Real quick, the fight I want to see in the featherweight, it's probably actually Lerone versus Mozart get us a real number 1 contender.
Yeah, I mean, I had no problem with that at all. You know me, I was hoping one of them would get picked, but yeah. What up, Whit?
Gentlemen, it's 2026. We in the building. Brand new toys, ladies and gentlemen. Brand new toys. Whole new buttons. Wait a minute. Didn't realize that was going on. So many new buttons.
Use that crow every time I talk about Kyle Bahara.
Right. We just kind of going down the divisions real quick, kind of talking about the storylines going into 2026 and the fight we want to see the most in that division, where we got 2 more men's divisions real quick, and to kind of wrap up here. So we'll get into the bantamweight division. Whit, I'll start with you. to me, the storyline kind of coming into 26 is the guys kind of at the top, man. Like, what does Umar do? Where does Merab, is he going? He gets this rematch, and where does the title on Peter Yan? Kind of who's next for him, and how long he can hold this title for? Because there's going to be some good fights. But what fight that's not booked that you want to see this year in the bantamweight division?
I mean, as we, as I jump in, first of all, Happy New Year to everybody. First show of the year. Big shouts out to my boys. Miss you guys. It's something I look forward to all the time. But for real, bantamweight division, bro, it's all about what way the bookmakers go with the big three right now. Of course, we got a chance to see the machine that is Merab Dvalishvili go through 4 fights and lose the 4th. And it was amazing to see the output each and every time. But somehow, some way, when you play Jenga and you keep taking out the blocks, I don't care how good you are at stacking them on the top. You could be an expert. You are going to pull one. It is going to fall. And we watched Merab fall. And not just any type of fall. We watched him get the output matched or even countered. You know what I mean? And that was the first time we've seen something like that in years almost, especially in the other 3 fights that he had earlier in 2025. Right now, where they somewhat juggle the Umar, Merab, Peter Yan title eliminator, that's bound to happen. Is what I'm really, really interested in this division. Somehow, some way, of course, and Bobby may agree with me on this. Is it worth the immediate title rematch? Maybe. Like immediate? Yes.
Whenever Merab comes back, he gets the title shot.
Right. And that is the obvious answer to the question. But is there a fight worth Umar punishing someone that we have to wait on, or do they just go, okay, Umar Peter, and then Merab gets him? There's only one other way that it can happen.
Umar's got a fight booked. He's fighting in, I think the next, I think it's 6 weeks, right? Is that the one he's on, or is the one after in Australia?
Yeah, no, he's on January fighting Figgy.
Yeah,
he's fighting Figgy.
Yeah,
hold on. Let me look.
But Whit knows how to pull it out of me because he keep going with.
Yeah, no, but in my mind, like so he fights Figgy, right? Okay, and no disrespect to Figgy right now. We have seen some of the best fights put on when Figgy's at faces really high level competition. So what will we get out of it? Maybe the best Davison Figueroa that we've seen in a while. But to me, it's still Umar. It's still overpowering. It's still dominant wrestling. It's still something that we haven't seen but one other time be dominated in the octagon. So that still leaves us with, after the Davison Figueroa fight, what do they do with the toss-up of Merab and Umar, or going straight to Peter and Merab as a rematch? I am interested in seeing the immediate rematch. I cannot lie to you. But if they do somehow, give Peter, late October, July, like going into fall type fight, maybe they hold off on him to kind of let this play out, because it is right now we're currently in the first quarter, maybe the first 2 quarters, and we get something really quickly between the two, because of course we know Merab is not going to turn anything down. Somebody like Umar is not going to turn anything down. If we get this first fight out the way, I think they could have somewhat of a title eliminator that pops in to the heads of the bookmakers. And then we just have one of those really evil stare downs at the end where it's either Merab or Umar looking at Peter Yan going, yeah, at the end of the year, it's me and you, and it's on.
So what's the fight that you're trying to say you want to see?
In real life, I want to see the rematch. That's what I'm saying. I want to see the rematch, but I don't know how long it's going to take.
Merab versus Peter Yan.
Yeah, I want to see the rematch, but I don't know how long. I don't know how long it's going to take.
Sometime this year. Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, I got you. Bobby.
Mine's a 2-part answer, and I loved what Whit was laying down there too, because it was, so yeah, we're getting the rematch. It is what it is. My most anticipated fight that I want to see in that division is technically Umar versus Peter Yan.
Yeah, that's where I was at. Yeah, I have that too.
However, this is the way I'm looking at it. We are going to get the Yan Merab rematch. Yan will be victorious, and then Umar will beat what's his name, Figgy. But then Umar is going to run it back with Merab before he fights Yan, because he wants to get that one back before he challenges for a title. So
I got news for Merab's not in your scenario that way. Merab's not losing 3 fights in a row. He's not that like.
I mean, it would technically be 2.
No, if you're saying so in your scenario, what you're saying is they run the rematch back to Peter and Merab. Merab would lose, then he would turn around and fight Umar, lose that one. That's 3 fights in a row because he lost to Yan twice, Umar once.
I mean, you look at these champions, especially at their age, it is very hard to get back to the top. I'm not saying it's going to be a shoo-in by any means. Like, Merab will still be competitive, but I do think by the end of the calendar year, the most anticipated fight is going to be Umar fighting Peter Yan.
I think Umar beats Figgy, title shot next. He might have to fight somebody in between if they do the rematch, if Merab comes back and is ready for the rematch against Peter. But I do agree that the most anticipated fight at 135 to me would be that I want to see is Umar versus Peter Yan.
Yeah, and I'm kind of playing with house money here because if Merab wins, we still get to do Merab versus Umar too. But yeah, to me, it's especially like seeing Peter Yan's last performance. That's why I was at Yan Umar.
Yeah. We'll get into the flyweight division. And the women's, we'll just do the women's like all total, not each division, to cut on some time here. But flyweight, Bobby, I'll start with you. I think obviously the storylines Joshua Van and Alexander Pantoja. We need to see. That's my fight that I got to see. Right, we got to see just 20 glimpses, 20 seconds of that fight. Unfortunately, and it's when will the storyline is like when will Pantoja come back? Will Van fight before then? It seems like Pantoja didn't have to have surgery. Just kind of he's all pretty much like got to heal up and he'll be ready to go. But to me, that's the fight, and I wouldn't mind seeing Tatora versus Haraguchi. They could do a fight night in Japan and have those two headline. That'd be great. But I'll go to you, Bobby, then Whit.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of by default. It is Joshua Van versus Pantoja. Initially, we didn't really know what the prognosis would have been with the elbow there, and we, he's to me he's like already sparring. So when I was initially in favor of booking Kite versus Van to kind of get a defense in because you wanted to stay active, I do kind of hope they wait, and that is the first fight that we kind of get with the flyweight title being on the line. But, I'm not too sure who yet, but I do anticipate that the flyweight title will by far be the most defended title of the calendar year.
Ooh, okay. Nice little bold prediction there. What about you? The most anticipated fight you want to see here in the 125?
All right, 125 is to me, we got some obvious answers, just like Bobby said, man. Of course, what's going to happen with Pantoja in his elbow? When it comes back, Joshua Van, just be ready for it. Be on your A game. There's this one is not even a question. But like when we just throw curveballs out there, I'm really interested to see what Brandon Royval is going to do as a bounce back year after he's dropped two. But then when in the sense of dropping two, who he has dropped the two to is where I'm at with it. Like what can he do? Because he lost to who would be eventually the champ. He's lost to who will eventually contend for the title. And somehow, some way, these two fights, I think, were some of his they weren't his usual work that we're used to. You know what I'm saying? But what normally gets Brandon Royval up is, of course, Moreno, right? So who can we get that's Moreno-esque that looks just like it, that kind of is in the same space as that? I'm somewhere in like really torn as to who, but in my mind, as soon as you look at the rankings, if we can get Brandon Royval and we get this Kyoji Haraguchi guy popping off after this fight that they have coming up with this Asuz Albiev, I mean that's why is that not a possibility? They look similar. They have a really similar fighting style, and I think it's really high energy the whole time. I just want to see what happens because still yet, of course, once again, the top three, they're in a big rotation. We kind of know something has got to happen, especially when you involve Manil Cape and Pantoja going back in at it. But somewhere down in the bottom, I like Royval. We've seen him do his best work against Moreno, but who wants to see Royval Moreno? What, 4? Do you want to see it? No, you, Baki?
No.
Yeah, we don't. I don't think so. So we got. I want to see Brandon Royval bounce back this year, and Kyoji Haraguchi is a good matchup for him, though, in my opinion.
All right, I like it. Let's get in. I just want to do the women's, just your most anticipated women, and here's gonna be my bold. This will be my bold prediction, because we haven't done it either. So here's my bold prediction as well. Kayla Harrison. So this all ties together. Kayla Harrison will beat Amanda Nunes here in 3 weeks' time and win. Then she will fight at the White House, and she's going to fight none other than, which will also be my most anticipated female fight of the year, Valentina Shevchenko. She will beat Valentina, and she will retire at the White House lawn and go down in history as the greatest female women's combat sports athlete ever. Bold prediction and my most anticipated female fight that we're going to get here in 26.
What weight is that taking place at?
Oh, Valentina's going to move up to 135.
Oh.
There's no way Kayla's dropping down. I mean, we know that. She barely makes 135.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, for sure. I get it.
Yeah. Whit, I'll go to you. Your most anticipated female fight that you would like to see this year.
Oh yeah, my bad. My mic was on mute. So it's more of a similar thing, man. Right now, Kayla Harrison's name is ringing bells. It's in a place so far ahead of the other competition that you really can't say anything else but the bullet, Valentino Shevchenko. But what if anybody comes up and just makes some really good, outings right now? It's there's room for this Norma Dumont to jump up there, but I think she's got to have like a really really good showing to fight Kayla Harrison, in my opinion. But the only other thing, first and foremost, just let's go ahead and get the Shevchenko in there. Let's have that happen. Let's have her retire the right way, with the end all be all fight. Can we see the Lioness come back? Is that really happening?
Next time.
This, but I'm saying, like, come back and have another fight, not just against Caleb. Like, just one more. One more after. You know what I mean? She gets the sweat going. Maybe
Valentina fights the winner of that fight.
Well, we were all
fights
kind
the
of
winner.
assuming probably Amanda's done. It's a one and done. So that is a interesting point Whit makes if she actually were to continue.
Yeah, that's my thing. If she gets out there, maybe barely breaks a sweat, because we know she's got the hands to put anybody out. Maybe she barely breaks a sweat and goes, I'm not done yet. And then we gotta go, okay, well, here goes Valentina. The two biggest names in women's combat sports, marquee in Vegas, or something, or somewhere of high stature, like in Madison Square Garden or something like that, or Fight Week, International Fight Week, something hype. You know what I mean? Because that's too big of two names for it to be in a small venue, or for not to be like on a card like for International Fight Week or something like that.
Bobby, your most anticipated female fight?
Come on, PFL. Do this for me. I'm not even going to waste my time, touching on the UFC. Amanda Serrano fought last week. She won. It was, an okay fight. Don Davis is always talking about wanting to co-promote. So let's co-promote realistically. The Francis thing is completely dead. You're never co-promoting with that. But they have a star in Dakota Ditcheva. She has nobody to fight. So why don't you call Nikisa, get Jake Paul on the line, and have Dakota Ditcheva fight Amanda Serrano in the PFL in MMA? Because Dakota Ditcheva is not going to grapple. It can just be, it's going to more or less just be, that type of fight. And this is also a big thing that kind of Serrano could do. We forget she's technically signed to the PFL. I don't know if you remember when she took all those pictures and stuff.
Yeah, I do.
And bottom line, they ain't got nothing else going on for Ditcheva. And I find it so much more realistic than Ditcheva, like calling out Chris Cyborg or something like that. Like, I don't really like the risk reward in that, opposed to if they just did Ditcheva Serrano. So I know it's a little bit out of the box, but it will get people, talking and only be good for the PFL.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny you mentioned Don Davis. He's not, really talking PFL these days. We'll have to get Don on here in the next few weeks or so. Maybe talk about that during this off season. You could, as Bobby said, I thought I had a bold prediction, Bobby. That's pretty bold. Amanda Serrano versus Dakota. I like it. But real quick, before we get into our predictions for male and female fighter of the year, I've already kind of laid out some of my bold predictions, but Bobby, I'll go to you. Do you have any other bold predictions for 2026? And then I'll ask Whit.
I don't know if it's really a bold prediction, but just a commentary of whether or not we get more titles vacated than defended. It's kind of going to be something I'm watching for. We might be out of the light with Ilya. Hopefully he comes back sooner. But you got a lot of these guys that might, defend it once and move up, or just get it, outright taken from them. But also with Kayla Harrison, I think the fight on in January, that is a one and done on both ends. I think if she beats Amanda Nunes, she is also going to retire, because I just don't really see anything else for her at that point. So I've kind of been treating that like maybe both their last fight. You would think maybe she might keep it going, but that cut just seems so brutal. I really wish this fight was being contested at 145. My interest for it would be a little higher. I don't really see, especially with Amanda coming back once, I don't see the point in them having to kill themselves for that extra 10 pounds, especially when the weight cut really hurts Kayla. But yeah, I don't know if I even answered the question fully, but
Wait, you got any bold predictions for 2026?
Man, bro, predictions, man. I think this is the year of the two division fighter or the trial of the two division fighter in MMA, where we see guys drop weight, put on weight, just to see if they can really test themselves. And when the immediate ones that come to mind, especially if they get through their first, title contenders, let's say real easy for me is thinking about like the evil twins of their divisions, when we get Kamza and, Alex Pereira. Like somewhere in there, Alex wants to go up and do heavyweight. Okay. I get it.
We talked about that at the beginning. We were in agreement that he's done at 205.
Yeah, I get it. He goes up and does heavyweight. Okay, I feel you, but what makes him stay rather than the boogeyman at middleweight? I think that's a real possibility.
So you think? So if I'm hearing you right, what you're saying is Hamzat versus Alex at 205.
I'm thinking Hamzat versus Alex at 205, and
Alex would run to heavyweight.
but let's say the thing is that Alex, he wants to take on Tom or whomever may come out of the Tom Cyril Gone
John
mix,
Jones,
right?
Yeah,
or John Jones, right? That's what he really wants to do. If he does, and I think he's very strategic in how he goes about things. He's by far not dumb. He knows exactly where he's at as far as the history books are concerned, especially with a meteoric rise like he had, who he's gone through to get there, how he had to bounce back. He knows all of that stuff. So if it's not worth, let's say Cyril Gone wins a rematch, right? And Cyril Gone wins, and it's no reason for him to go fight heavyweight. No reason, none. What does he do? We wait on Hamzat. We poke the bear just enough. Hamzat comes up, takes on Alex. That is worth him staying. Is what I'm saying. And I'm not saying that Tom will lose to Cyril Gone, but I don't think Alex makes the move to heavyweight if it's not worth the challenge or the namesake. John Jones ain't walking through that door. We know that. We kind of get that picture right. But if it's Tom and he's there still after the Cyril Gone rematch, okay, cool. If it's not, let's move Hamzat up. And that also goes for Ilya and Islam. This is the one I think is no other way but to happen. Let's do a catch weight. You don't think so?
I don't know if Ilya even fights this year.
Are you really? You don't think Ilya fights?
Divorce? You're going through a divorce.
I really want to whip somebody's ass after I find out they're taking half of my assets.
Yeah. It's messy. It's getting played out overseas on TV and everything else.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to need more money, sir. So I got to whoop somebody's ass, and I got to get a fight bonus. I got to pay my lawyer.
I like it, but yeah.
I got to pay my lawyer. I gotta buy a new crib because my wife is gonna want the crib. She's gonna want the cars. She's gonna want the dog. She's gonna want the pool. She's gonna want the boat. So I need more money now, Dana. Whose ass can I whip, and when can I start whipping it? Put it on the books. You know what I'm saying? Because after you separate, after the assets are declared, and she gets and I don't know anything about foreign court, but after those assets are separated, you start off brand new. That's when you see guys in America, and they take a picture of that mattress on the floor and the TV on the milk crate, and they go, "Yeah, this is peace." That is where he will be, and he will be ready to immediately get up off the floor, get him a nice box spring, get him a nice mattress, and rebuild. Every man should do it at least once. Can't even lie to you.
Real quick before we close out the show with our Fighter of the Year predictions. The UFC changed according to ChatGPT, so who knows, but I'm pretty sure it's pretty accurate. The UFC titles throughout all the weight classes changed 11 times from 2025. Over under, Bobby, 11 title changes in 2026.
With all of them?
Yeah, all the divisions changed throughout The whole organization's changed. The title changed at least 11
and
times.
vacated titles count, right?
Correct.
Smash the over.
Over. Wait, what about you? 11 title changes the last year.
And when we say changes, we're talking about changing hands from person to person. Right?
Yeah. One guy was champ, or one female was champ, no longer champ, went to the next person.
I'm going to take the under. I'm going to take the under, man, because I think a lot of the people. This is a year in which at least 1, 2, 3. Let's say 3 of the 8 divisions got really strong people at the top, and I really don't see them losing. We're going to have really good title fights. I see some really good decisions happening, but I really don't see at least 3 of them moving at all. Nope.
Okay. You taking the under? I'm gonna take the under. I think too. I'm with you, Whit. I could see it either way, but I'm gonna go under. All right, let's get into our final predictions of 26. We'll start with the female fighter. The female fighter of the year. Whit, I'll start. Oh, he talking to the kid. Bobby, I'll start with you. Your prediction for female fighter of the year.
God, who? It's gonna come down to if Valentina can kind of keep the trend going, but if Kayla does get one more, I would think she would kind of also be a layup for it. So on the side of positivity, hoping Kayla continues, I'll go with Kayla Harrison.
Whit? He's still busy. It's Kayla for me too. Yeah, I mean, I laid out Kayla Harrison's 2026 plan. So she is my female fighter of the year.
Well, that plan would make her the shoe-in, hands down. So
yeah. Whit, you got your female fighter of the year.
Prediction. I'm going Valentina, man. Even though it may seem like it's just one fight, I'm right. I'm really thinking that somehow, some way, whatever happens with Kayla, they may try and figure out a way to get Valentina in there twice. And I wouldn't be. I would not be last year. Yes, exactly. She fought twice last year.
This past year.
She fought twice last year, and if she makes a thing of it, and we get Amanda in there, maybe, that makes her worth fight of the year. Especially if somehow they mix it up where she somehow gets to Kayla, and then at the tail end of the year we get for the speakeasies, for all the real fight fans, we get Valentina, Amanda, just to close the books on both chapters. I think that'd make her fight of the year.
Okay. I like it. All right, let's get into final here. The fighter of the year. Wait, I'll go back to you. Your fighter of the year prediction.
Fighter of the year, man. Real talk. This is a not an easy one to pick. A lot of these guys are going to be working their behinds off, especially at the top of these divisions. Fighter of the year for me is definitely not going to surprise some people, but maybe to others. I think somehow we get a resurgence of Merab, to be honest with you.
So you think Merab goes back? I had him as my fighter of the year. Bobby had him as his Islam as fighter of the year, but you got Merab being your prediction for this year.
I think Merab makes his way, and this is whether he wins or loses to Peter Yan. I think Merab makes his way into the fight fans' heads again, by doing at least two or more fights this year, and that's regardless of him winning or losing to Peter Yan.
Okay, Bobby.
I mean, I'm sorry to be so boring, but it's Islam Makhachev. But if you want me to be unboring and veer out the box, give me Joshua Van. I think he can still beat Pantoja. I'm interested to see how Pantoja comes back from the injury. And I do think he will be active enough to where he could do it. But I do acknowledge it is a real long shot because that belt is going to be very hard to hold down in that killer division.
So you got Van or Islam? Pick either one. Pick one of them.
I mean, I'll pick Van because I know in my heart at the end of the year, fighter of the year will be Islam. So give me Joshua Van.
Okay. I was going to go Islam. But you know what? I'm gonna change my mind. I'll think outside the box. And I thought about this. This man not only is going to win fighter of the year.
If you say
he's not only going to win fighter of the year. He's not going to win just fighter of the year. He's going to win comeback fighter of the year.
Oh,
that's right. My fight of the year is going to be the man I've been touting as the future welterweight champion since this show's inception.
Oh, okay. Changed my mind. Okay.
Shavkat Rakhmonov, baby. That's going to be my fighter of the year.
I thought you were going to say Kyle Bahara to troll me.
I thought you, yeah. I was like, yo, he's coming for Bobby with this one, dog.
I'm glad you said Shavkat. Thank you.
I say he's going to be my comeback fighter of the year. Kyle can't be comeback fighter of the year. What's he coming back from? Just a loss?
An embarrassing ass whooping.
Yeah, I lost. You can come back from that. Yeah, you got to fight nerds, took some L's.
Comeback fighter of the year and fighter of the year, baby.
Fight nerds took some really tough L's last year, bro.
Again, if Shavkat gets it done, it would be another shoo-in. So great choice.
Yeah. That's he's going to beat somebody, Morales, Brady, or somebody. Then he's going to fight Islam. He's going to beat Islam, and then he'll probably be done for the year. Maybe he gets one more in, but those two alone, people will be like, "Holy shit, this man just beat Islam," and they'll want to give him fighter of the year.
I concur.
Yeah, there it is. There's another bold prediction for you. All right, well that sums it up. That's the year 2026, baby. We'll see what happens. You know what I mean? They call me Bodkins Damas, you know what I'm saying? So.
I can't wait for it all to change in like 3 weeks. I'm gonna have to go back and look at what our ones were last year because I know I hit none of them.
Oh yeah, last year I can tell you mine was Tom Aspinall.
Yeah, you were really riding the Tom Aspinall train, and I was with you. I was right behind you.
He was supposed to fight John Jones and Alex Pereira, but that
didn't work out, man.
Oh wait, I think my bold prediction might have been that Jones retires. So I might have got one.
You might have got that one right. Hey,
that was like not only my fighter of the year, but my bold prediction last year, and none of those things happened. Unfortunately, fucking surreal. I blame Jones, and then I blame Surreal God.
Yes, in 6 simple steps. Yes, in 6 simple steps.
Yeah, buttons. Sorry.
Whit, let the people know what you got going on the rest of the week before we get up out of here.
Yeah, man. So nothing this week. In any other case, we're gonna get started with In the Hoop on Fridays. Basketball season's in full swing. We're getting ready to hit that wall where the All-Star break happens, and then all of a sudden your favorite player gets traded. Just tonight, Trae Young gets traded to the Wizards for CJ McCollum and a bag of Skittles. So it's actually happening right now as we speak. And I'm interested to see what goes on with the rest of the season, man. And then can't forget, bro, boxing will be in full swing. Just like we had a couple of fights earlier, right at pretty much at the turn of the year. I'm excited to see what goes on in boxing in multiple divisions. Unfortunately, it looks like we have lost one of the great heavyweights to what I would call vehicular stupidity or insensitivity, because apparently, if you don't know, Anthony Joshua had a devastating car accident when he visited his grandparents, traveling at high speeds. Now he has to retire. We don't know what type of injuries he sustained.
It's reported that he may retire.
He may retire. In my mind, if you saw you saw that car.
Yeah, he was lucky to be alive. He's lucky to be alive.
Yeah, they pulled him from the back of that car, and he ain't had on no clothes. He was folded up and in pain. So who knows? But in the end, it's really unfortunate that 2 people lost their lives in that car accident. And hopefully we get to see future Anthony Joshua just be himself. But I'm interested to see what goes on in several divisions. heavyweight division still going to be up for grabs. Right now, Alexander Usyk is calling out the Bronze Bomber, Deontay Wilder. And I said this last year, when they do stuff like that, they're friends. They respect each other enough to go, hey, look, that guy is really good. He needs some money. Let me fight him just because. That's his payday. And he can walk off into the sunset. We know that the two, there's the limit, the space between Deontay Wilder and Alexander Usyk is vast, and that's okay. And there's no knock on Deontay Wilder at all. But that's just for money. And then of course, Fury is quote unquote making a comeback right now, and training hard. So who knows, man? The 2026 is really slated to be the year of some big things, especially in boxing. So I can't wait to see. And RAF, I don't know what's going on. Wrestling, American Wrestling Freestyle. I've been checking out those matches, like Yoel Romero at 57.
This weekend, this Saturday, I think it's Yoel Romero versus Bo Nix.
Bo Nix, yeah. Yoel Romero at the age of 50.
Bo Nix, the football player. Bo Nickal.
Yeah, Bo Nickal.
Bo Nix got a week off.
Bo Nix got other stuff to worry about this weekend, but Bo Nickal and Yoel Romero, dog. Like I've been checking that out.
I think the main event is Colby Covington versus Luke Rockhold, Bobby's boy.
Yo, and that's gonna be cold, bro. Yeah, that's gonna be cold. They just Colby Covington just wrestling. Maybe he still got it. I don't know. So MMA, boxing all together right now. It's a lot of things going on, and I'm interested to check it out.
Yeah, no doubt. We'll be back. Bobby, any final thoughts before we get out of here?
No, I mean, the Nickel Yoel wrestling match is intriguing. The rest I can kind of take or leave it, but that's about it.
Yeah, it is intriguing. Bobby, I meant to say this earlier in our breakout. Gable Stevenson, can that be considered a breakout?
Yeah, I guess my question would be, would that have to be him getting signed in the UFC?
He's getting signed. According to him, and he was on Rogan. He endeared me on Rogan. I think I became a little bit of a fan of Gable when he was on Rogan.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he might have.
Well, don't Google Gable Stevenson loophole.
Yeah. I know, Trent. I know.
Oh, don't call me.
Uh-oh.
I know, Trent. I know. I'm just saying, check it out. But yeah, possibly. I think he's pretty much kind of said like, hey, they pretty much they're in talks.
Do you think they signed him outright or go contender?
I think he's signed outright. Yeah.
It would make the most sense, but especially like for the White House. But at the same time, I could see the UFC milking a few fights for
like they did with Bo Nickel.
Well, especially because Contender is now on Paramount, so it's just going to make it feel bigger.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see like one fight on Contender, but I don't know.
But especially in that division, that's why that's intriguing.
Yeah. So watch out for him. He'd be a person to watch out for. And other than that, we'll be back this time next week, 8:00 Central, 9 Eastern, for another great episode of Headkicks and Haymakers. Be a friend, tell a friend. I'll be back with the boys on Fall Start Thursday, previewing the playoff games tomorrow night as well. So check that out. Other than that, we'll see you next week. Be a friend, tell a friend, like, subscribe, share. For my guy, Bobby Witt, I'm Bodkins. We'll see you later, baby.
Peace.
Have a great weekend.
Happy New Year, folks.
Thanks so much for joining us, and until next time, let's talk sport, friends. Thanks for watching.